It is showtime!
You're listening to the Dirt Racing Podcast.
Yes, you are listening to the Dirt Racing Podcast. Hello and welcome to another edition. Before we get into the results, I want to bring up an interesting situation that I've noticed with tires and prices. And I don't have late model prices, I just have sprint cars and IMCA racing tires, how high they've gotten. For IMCA tire, for one, this is $157, and it's the same compound on all sides. For Hoosier sprint car right rear tire, it's $348. The left rear is $348, and the fronts are $264. Some series will let you do the American Racer tire. Right rear for American Racer is $290. The left rear is $275 to $283, and fronts are $195. So on the sprint car side, we need compounds, and some tire competition to keep the price down. So that's my take on the tires. Now we'll get started with results from last weekend. Marshalltown Speedway was rained out for the second consecutive week. So we'll go to the CJ Speedway. And we'll start with the modifieds. Picking up the win was 77 Kurt Kyle. Second, 22 of Adam Banks. Third was Adam Shulman in the 3S. Kyle Houston in the 8H was fourth. Fifth was the 43 Preston Williams. Sixth was the 96 of Matt Lundry. Did not start credited with seventh was the 53 of Logan Herbie Anderson. And credited with the eighth that did not start was Colton Osborne in 72. For the stock cars, picking up the win was the 23W Keegan Wells. Second, the 75 ounce of Austin Kemper. Third was the 20V of Dustin Viss. Matt Pickney in the 27 was fourth. Fifth was Tony Olson in the 23. Sixth, Corey Saucerman in the C4. Seventh was Austin O'Donnell in the 56A. Eighth, the 33 of Churton Wet. Ninth was the 56 of Kenny O'Donnell. Kurt Kinsley was 10th in the 21M. Luke Phillips in the 33L was 11th. 12th was the 30 of Dan Brockhart. The rest did not finishes. Starting in 13th in the 97 of Robert Barnes. Tyler Pickett in the 5A was 14th. 15th, James Cummings in the 83. And the 12K of John Oliver was 16th. In the sport mods, picking up his first career win was 11X of Cole Vanderwall. Second, the 117 of Dylan May White. Third was the 00 Sean Sauter. Fourth was the 10L Levi Lehman. Fifth, the 17 of Trey Rock. Sixth, the 29 of Colton Lizzie. Seventh was the 44G of Levi Gaunt. Eighth was the 7 of Will Wolf. Joel Payne was 9th and 16. 10th, the 21 of Todd Hansen. 11th was the 75 R Joe Roller. The CB25 of Jim Russell, or the 25 CB, excuse me, was 12th. The rest did not finishes. Credited with 13th was Sheldon Hubert in the 10S, and 14th, the 9 is Shane Wright. In the hobby stocks, your winner was the 88 Jason Shetterly. Austin Stratler in the 12 was in second. Third, the 7 of Keegan Gorgon. Fourth, the 55X of Corey Vanderwell. The 6P of Preston McDonald was fifth. Sixth, the 22 of Brad Graham. G of Brad Graham. Seventh, the 0 of Ryan Hubble. Eighth, the 88H of Cale Hemsley. Ninth, the 22, James Pilkington. 10th was the 88C of Daniel Campbell. 12th, or 11th, 26, Kyler Burmeister. 12th, the IB 25X of Jim Trips. And did not start, and credited with 13th, 52, Billy Stanford. And finally, in the mini haulers, Brian Trips was your winner in 20. Second was the 4 Cale Easley. The Z44 of Brent Timmerman was third. Fourth, Randy Reimer in the 40. Fifth was 11L Lawrence Lane. Peyton Lane in the 90, or in the 89L was sixth. The rest did not finishes or did not start. Credited with seventh was the 16 of Dawson Trips. Lyle Timmerman in 44 was eighth. Ninth, the 141 of Dwayne Rummer. And then 10th, the 44T of Tasker Timmerman. And credited with 11th as it did not start was Austin Meeker in 82. Over at 34 Raceway on Saturday night, we'll start with the 305 sprints. Picking up the win was the 27I of Tanner Gebhardt. Second, the 7B Nick Guernsey. Third, the 88 of Riley Scott. Fourth, the 52H of Cale Helmerson. Travis Pence in the 01 was fifth. Sixth, the 56 Matt Krieger. Ian Stewart in the 16 HD was seventh, and eighth was the 3C of Cameron Stock. In the modifieds, the 26 of Joel Rust was your winner. Second, the 53 of Logan Herbie Anderson. The 71J of John Oliver was third. Fourth, Justin Zider in the 62. Fifth, the 50 of Danny Eckridge. Sixth, 22 Austin Becerra. Seventh, the 77F of Josh Foster. Eighth, the 5R Bill Roberts. Ninth, the 9Z of Chris Zog. Garrett Wilson in the 3W was 10th. 11th, the 71 of Dennis Levine. Bladen Webster in the 7 was 12th. 13th, the 77 of Kurt Kyle. 14th was the 8C Michael Clays. Mark Winkle, the 7W was 15th. The rest did not finishes. In 16th, 32H of Skylar Haroon. The J1 is Jim Sandusky. It was 17th. 18th, the 10C of Caden Carter. And 19th, the 26J of Jaden Fuller. Sport mods, the 01 of Braden Carter, your winners. Second, the 117 of Dylan Van Wyk. Third, the 22V of Jared Vandenberg. Fourth, the T23 of Tony Olson. Sean Wyatt in the 12S was fifth. Sixth was Matt Tucker in 00. 724 Chase Johnson. Eighth was Travis Tidrow in 13. Ninth, the 54 Quentin Shelton. Woolworth in the 7W was 10th. 11th was the 15 of Ryan Dodd. Shane Vansell in the 22R was 12th. 13th, Kevin Week in the 666. The rest did not finishes. Credited with 14th, the 10C of Colton Gillenwater. Jason Van Zomeren in the 3Z was 15th. 16th, the 10L of Levi Lehman. And Adam Brick in the 122 was 17th. In the stock cars, the one at Caden Reynolds was your winner. Second, the 1X of Caden Carter. Third, the 12 of John Oliver. Fourth, the T23 of Tony Olson. Fifth, 21M of Kurt Kensley. Trenton Witt in 33 was 6th. Seventh was Jaden Fuller in the 7. Eighth was the 3D of Jason Cook. Keegan Wells in 23W was 9th. 10th of 20V of Dustin Viss. 11th was the 7V of Braden Carter. 12th was Todd Reisler in 22R. Corey Saucerman was 13th in the C4. 14th was Blake Woodruff in 87. Gary Gilbert's stat in the 39 was 15th. 16th was 99 Scott Jordan. 17th, the 06 of Jerry Jensen. Robert Barnes in 97 was 18th, and the rest did not finishes or did not start. 19th, the 14X of Austin Stroggy was in 19th. 20th, the 15 SR Reed Sammons. Tanner Allen in the 22 was 21st. 22nd, the 826 of Jesse Anderson. And credited with 23rd and did not start was the 3 of David McCullough. In the Sport Compacts, your winner was 57 Barry Taft. Second was Tim Snottenhorst in the 63. Third, the 13C Chevy Barnes. Fourth, the 48 of Chuck Follenkamp. Blaine Lambert in the 18L was fifth. Sixth was the 63B of Bobby Douglas. Seventh was the 2X of TJ Weibles. Did not finish in 8th was the 38 of Brandon Crawley. Chadwick Paulin was credited with 9th as it did not start in the 10C. And disqualification and credited with 11th, the 13B of Josh Barnes. In the dirt late models, your winner was the 30 of Curtis Glover. Second, the 93 Jay Johnson. Third was Zach Zeider in the 76. Fourth, the 2J Junior of Jesse Bowden. Andy Sarneski, or Narensky, was in the 7 was 5th. 6th, 25 of Clay Simpson. 7th, the 01 of Chris Horn. Tommy Elston in the 54 was 8th. 9th, the 52J of Jeremy Pont. 10th, 42X of Patrick Shoemaker. Ray Raker in the 07 was 11th. 12th, the 50 W56 of Gary Webb. 13th was the 11S of Josh Schneiderman. Dalton Simonson in the 60 was in 14th. 15th, the 7B is Sam Holstad. 16th, Kyle Holdenbeck. Reed Simmons in the 15 SR was 17th and did not finish. And 18th was the 39 of Ed Hollenbach. Over at the Knoxville Raceway was in action on Saturday night. We'll start with the 410s. Qualifying group number 1. Picking up the quick time in group 1 and the $100 from OpenWheel101.com was the 78 of Scott Boguski at a 15.463. Second was the 24 of Rico Abreu at a 15.469. Third, the 87 Aaron Reitzel at a 15.667. Fourth was the 44 Chris Martin at a 15.756. Fifth was the 3P of Sawyer Phillips at a 15.761. Sixth was the 12X of Cameron Key at a 15.952. 7th was the 19 of Brent Marks at a 16.008. 8th was Spencer Baston at a 16.042 in the 14. 9th was the 6 of Brandon Wimmer at 16.068. Kobe Watt was 10th in the 1K at 16.139. 11th, the 21T Tanner Holmes at 16.164. 12th was the G5 Engaged Polsterbeck at 16.296. 13th, the ADP of Jacob Peterson at a 16.301. 14th, the 10V of Cade Higday at a 16.421. 15th to 22 Riley Goodnow at a 16.431. 16th to 95 of Tyler Durkee at 16.499. 17th was the 09 of Matt Jewell at 16.634. 18th to 121 of RJ Johnson at a 16.815. 19th was the 45X of Landon Crawley at a 16.918. And 20th in Group 1 was the 17A of Jack Anderson at 17.222. Group 2. Quick time was the 21 of Brian Brown at a 15.639. Second quick was the Austin McCarl, the 88 car, and the driver of the Dirt Racing Podcast at a 15.778. Third was the 55, the Madman, Kerry Matson at a 15.801. Fourth, Ryan Timms in the 10 with a 15.852. Fifth, the 39 of Linton Jeffrey at a 15.863. Sixth, the Dirt Racing Podcast driver, 26, Justin Peck at a 15.893. Seventh was the 27, Carson McCarl, another Dirt Racing Podcast driver, at a 15.950. Eighth was the 9 of Chase Randall at a 16.115. Ninth, the 2KS of Corey Eliason at a 16.322. 10th was the 1 of Tasker Phillips at a 16.332. 6th was the 6K Caleb Johnson at a 16.366. 12th was the JJ Hinkle in the 2M at a 16.421. 13th, the 15 Junior, Cole Weitzer, another Dirt Racing Podcast driver, at a 16.447. 14th was the 23 L Jimmy Light at a 16.590. 15th, the 7B of Ben Brown at a 16.660. 16th, the 8H Jacob Hughes at a 16.894. 17th was the 31 Kyle Bellum at a 16.991. 18th, the 44X of Scotty Johnson at 17.002. And 19th, the 71 of Brandon Warmington at 17.069. Heat races, picking up the heat race 1 went to Aaron Reitzel. Second to Tanner Holmes. Third to Brett Marks. Fourth, Scott Bogiski. Fifth, Brandon Wimmer. Sixth, Riley Goodnow. Seventh, Landon Crawley. Eighth, Sawyer Phillips. Ninth, Matt Jewell. And 10th, Jacob Peterson. Heat race number 2 went to Rico Abreu. Second, Spencer Baston. Third, Gage Polsterbeck. Fourth, Chris Martin. Fifth, Kobe Watt. Sixth, Cameron Key. Seventh, Tyler Durkee. Eighth, Cade Hayday. Ninth, Jack Anderson. And 10th, RJ Johnson. Heat race number 3 went to Corey Eliason. Second, Kayla Johnson. Third, Kerry Matson. Fourth, Carson McCarl. Fifth, Brian Brown. Sixth, Lenton Jeffrey. Seventh, Ben Brown. Eighth, Cole Meitzer. Ninth, Kyle Bellum. And 10th, Brandon Warmington. Heat race number 4 went to JJ Hinkle. Second, Justin Peck. Third, Chase Randall. Fourth, Austin McCarl. 5th, Tasker Phillips. 6th, Jimmy Light. 7th, Jacob Hughes. 8th, Scotty Johnson. And 9th, Ryan Timms. The B main took the top 4 directly to feature. Picking up the win was Sawyer Phillips. 2nd, Kobe Watt. 3rd, Tasker Phillips. 4th, the foul transfer was Riley Goodnow. 5th was Cole Meister. 6th, Ben Brown. 7th, Matt Jewell. 8th, Lyndon Crawley. 9th, Jack Anderson. 10th, Tyler Jerky. 11th, Jimmy Light. 12th, Jacob Hughes. 13th, Scotty Johnson. 14th, Kyle Bellum. 15th, Jacob Peterson. 16th, Brandon Warrington. 17th, Kate Higday. 18th, RJ Johnson. And credited with 19th and did not start was Ryan Timms. In the A main, your winner was Rico Abreu. 2nd, Aaron Reitzel. 3rd, Austin McCarl. 4th, Kerry Matson. 5th, Brian Brown. 6th, Brent Marks. 7th, Justin Peck. 8th, Chris Martin. 9th, Carson McCarl. 10th, Spencer Mason. 11th went to Kobe Watt. 12th, J.J. Hinkle. 13th, Corey Eliason. 14th, Linton Jeffrey. 15th, Tanner Holmes. 16th, Caleb Johnson. 17th, Riley Goodnow. 18th, Sawyer Phillips. 19th, Brandon Wimmer. 20th, Scott Bogiski. 21st, Gage Pulsarek. 22nd, Cameron Key. 23rd, Tasker Phillips. And 24th, Chase Randall. A roulette all the way 1 through 20. Hard charger was Linton Jeffrey. In the 360s, picking up the quick time was 87, Aaron Reitzel at 16:6:45. 2nd, the 4W, Jamie Ball at 16:8:96. 3rd was the 1 Taz, Tasker Phillips at 9:03. 4th, 66, JJ 63 of JJ Hinkle at 16:9:23. 4th, 24H of Kate Higday at a 17:022. 6th was the 6 of Dustin Salvage at a 17:036. 7th was the 4 of Cam Martin at a 17:168. 8th was 36 Jason Martin at 17:187. 9th was the 9 of Chase Randall at a 17:220. 10th was the 99 Tony Ross at a 17:232. 11th was the 40 Clint Gardner at a 17:267. 12th was the 77 of X of Alex Hill at a 17:300. 13th was the 22 X of Riley Goodnow at a 17:339. 24th was 24 T-Mac Terry McCarl, Dirt Racing Podcast driver, at 17:340. 15th was 17 Tyler Grundyke at 17:354. 16th was the 74 Anna Lignalis at a 17:372. 17th was the 29 of Emilio Emil Hoover at 17:497. 18th was the 3P of Sawyer Phillips at 17:503. 19th was the 01 at TMS Thomas Meserall, another Dirt Racing Podcast driver, at 17:508. 20th was the 17B of Ryan Bickett at a 17:522. 21st, Ryan Levitt at 17 and 22 at 17:633. 22nd, 2GM of Ryan Giles at a 17:661. 23rd was the 86 of Timothy Smith at a 17:706. 24th, 7C of Chris Morgan at a 17:223. 25th, the 33 of Alan Zoot at an 18:024. 26th, the 13G of Gage Walden at an 18:117. 27th, the 1A John Anderson at an 18:241. 28th was 83 Kurt Mueller at an 18:2 5:32. 29th to 14 of Aiden Zoot at an 18.577. And 30th to 31 McLean Richards at an 18.796. Heat Race 1 went to Aaron Reitzel, second Riley Goodnow, third Cam Martin, fourth Ryan Giles, fifth J.J. Hinkle, sixth Tony Ross, seventh to Luke Nellis, eighth Thomas Meserhall, ninth Alan Zoo, and 10th to Kurt Mueller. Heat Race 2 went to Clint Gardner. Emilio Hoover was second, third Jamie Ball, fourth Jason Martin, fifth Terry McCarl, sixth Kate Higday, seventh Timothy Smith, eighth Ryan Bickett, ninth Gage Walden, and 10th Aiden Zoo. Heat Race number 3 went to Tyler Grindike, second Chase Randall, third Sawyer Phillips, fourth Tasker Phillips, fifth Dustin Salvage, sixth Alex Hill, seventh Chris Morgan, eighth to Ryan Levitt, ninth McLean Richards, and 10th John Anderson. The B main took 4. Your winner was Timothy Smith, second Ryan Bickett, third Ryan Levitt, fourth and final transfer Chris Morgan. Fifth was Gage Weldon, sixth Aiden Z, seventh Kurt Mueller, eighth McLean Richards, ninth Alan Z, and credited with 10th was John Anderson. The main. Your winner was Aaron Reitzel, second Tasker Phillips, third J.J. Hinkle, fourth Chase Randall, fifth Clint Gardner, sixth Jamie Ball, seventh Dustin Salvage, eighth Riley Goodnow, ninth Cam Martin, 10th Kate Higday, 11th Tyler Grindike, 12th was Jason Martin, 13th Sawyer Phillips, 14th Ryan Giles, 15th Terry McCarl, 16th Tony Ross, 17th Emilio Hoover, 18th Ryan Levitt, 19th Thomas Meserhall, 20th Alex Hill, 21st Ryan Bickett, 22nd Chris Morgan, 23rd Luke Nellis, 24th Timothy Smith. Hinkle led 1 through 3, Tasker Phillips 4 and 5, Reitzel 6 through 18. The hard charger was Levitt. In the pros, picking up the quick time was 55 of Toby Mosier at a 17.503. Second to 41 Jeff Wilkie at a 17.600. Third 88 Jay Kender at a 17.608. Fourth to 17 Matt Allen at a 17.639. Fifth to 7 Cia Devin Klein at a 17.681. Sixth Chase Young, in 26 at 17.755. Ninth to 99 of Matthew Stelzer at 17.790. Eighth the 30C Carter Hansen at 17.9 or 8.96. Ninth to 35 Kevin Hendrick at an 18.021. 10th to 44 of Brody Johnson at an 18 or 119. 11th was the 9 of Luke Lane at a 18.128. 12th 48 Tyler Thompson at a 18.163. 13th to 55 KC Bob Hildreth at an 18.459. 14th 12K of Cody Hildreth at an 18.494. 15th deal 0 Mike Mayberry at an 18.621. 6 to 7 Rob Kubley at an 18.752. 17th deal 2 Esther Josh Jones at 19.038. 18th was the 65 of Logan Brown at 19.070. Or 870, excuse me. 19th to 57A of Devin Wignall. No time. And credited with 20th as a disqualification light at the scales. the 42J of Evan Jones. Heat Race 1 went to Kevin Hedrick, second Luke Lane, third Matthew Seltzer, fourth Jake Hender, fifth Devin Klein, sixth Toby Moser, seventh Mike Mayberry, eighth Evan Jones, ninth Josh Jones, and 10th Bob Hildreth. Heat Race number 2 went to Chase Young, second Rob Kubley, third Tyler Thompson, fourth Matt Allen, fifth Jeff Wilkie, sixth Cody Hildreth, seventh Logan Brown, eighth Brody Johnson, ninth Carter Hansen, and 10th Devin Wignall. In the feature, your winner was Matthew Stelzer, second Devin Klein, third Jake Hender, fourth Luke Lane, fifth Toby Moser, sixth Cody Hildreth, seventh Brody Johnson, eighth Evan Jones, ninth Josh Jones, 10th Chase Young, 11th Jeff Wilkie, 12th Logan Brown, 13th Matt Allen, 14th Bob Hildreth, 15th Tyler Thompson, 16th Rob Kubley, 17th was Kevin Hedrick, 18th Devin Wignall, and then these two did not start credited with 19th would be Carter Hansen, and 20th Mike Mayberry. Klein led 1 through 7. Stelzer led 8 through 15. The hard charger was Evan Jones. Last night at the Southern Iowa Speedway, they got 2 of the 5 feature events in before the rain. So picking up the win in the non-wing sprint cars was 93 of A.J. Johnson. Second, 2 of Terry Dodd. Third, the T4 Tyler Graves. Fourth, the 12 of Tim Graham. And fifth, the 93S of Doug Sylvester. And in the Sport Compacts, Brandon Pickney was your winner in 7th. Second, 65 Seth Miners. Third was the 15 of Clayton Webster. Fourth, the 2K of Caitlin Watts. Fifth, the 1Z of Colton Zapital. Sixth, the 22C Ryan Cheney. Dalton Sowers in 22D was 7th. 8th, 14P Jason Peterson. 9th, the 83 of Jake Minders. And credited with 10th, as it did not start, was the 18A of Kyle Rasdom. So this Wednesday night, they'll pick up on lap 4 the stock car feature, and then the complete feature for the sport mods and hobby stocks to finish out that program before the regular racing program. So coming up this weekend, starting with tomorrow night, over at we'll start at Marshalltown Speedway. Hopefully, it will be the third time will be the charm, as the points opener featuring IMCA Modifieds, stock cars, sport mods, hobby stock, sport compacts, and mod lights are all on the card. Over at the CJ Speedway, their program will feature, the first time in 15 years, the Sprint Invaders 360 sprint cars. Of course, the IMCA Modifieds, stock cars, sport mods, and hobby stocks on the card. Saturday night over at 34 Raceway, it's the 305 sprints, IMCA Modified, sport mods, stock cars, sport combat, and dirt late models on the card. Over at the Knoxville Raceway, your normal 3 classes of 410s, 360s, and pros. And then at the Southern Iowa Speedway, as I mentioned, the lap 4 of the stock car feature from last night, plus the Sport Mod feature and Hobby Stocks feature, then the complete show for Hobby Stocks, Stock Car, Sport Mods, and Sport Compacts. Sprint cars will not be, non-wing sprint cars will not be on the card. And then next Thursday night, just in case, we'll be at the Marshalltown Speedway. For Thursday Night Thunder instead of a Friday night show. And it will feature your IMCA all the normal classes of IMCA modified stock cars, sport mod, hobby stock, mod lights, and sport compacts. Thanks for listening to this week's show. Of course, I'll live tweet from the Knoxville Raceway on Saturday night. And then, so always follow the X, our Facebook page, as well. This has been another edition of the Dirt Racing Podcast.
Thank you for listening to the Dirt Racing Podcast with Marshall Hain. Follow us on Twitter at Dirt_Podcast or on Facebook at the Dirt Racing Podcast.